Hi, welcome back to Headbangers podcast. I'm here with Nathan today, and joining us is Mechromorph. How are you guys doing?
Hello.
Good, man, thank you.
Yeah, good. Cheers for having us on.
No worries, no worries. How's COVID life treating you and all?
It's weird.
It's weird, but I've been working the whole pandemic, so it's not really made much difference to me whatsoever.
I think that's like the consensus from most people we spoke to. Said it's pretty much exactly the same, except just all the fun bits taken out.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, so you have all your civil liberties taken away, and you can't go out, see your mates, do all the fun shit you usually do, but you can go to work and risk your life every day. That's all good.
Yeah. It's just like you just can't enjoy anything outside of that. It's mad. I was put on furlough, and I literally had just not to do. Literally nothing. I couldn't do anything. I was just sat in my house for like months, just waiting for something to do. Kind of envious, to be honest. Like, I've just been working through the entire thing, and obviously there's nothing to do. There's a bit in summer when we could kind of go out for a pint, and then now it's just back to the way it was. Yeah. Because obviously Leeds is in tier 3, so it's just
it's just all a bit bollocks, to be honest.
Yeah, it is. It's just boring. How's it been for you?
Back into tier 3 now.
In and out of work. Just started a new job, so it's going well. But aside from that, it's just like trying to just balance everything out, and it's very hard in this sort of time to like say if like it's very unnerving to see if you can do band practice, if you can record, if you can even just meet up with friends and stuff like that. It's just very strict, and I've never had to go through something like that. It's very, very weird.
Yeah. Well, how was it like joining the band? Like, because obviously you joined quite recently, so like.
It was very obviously I think I met Lewis. I think I've met Lewis a couple of times. We might have like passed each other when I was, even if I went to gigs and stuff like that. Yeah. But we have spoken in the past. But it's like I think when some stuff happened with the band. Yeah, we
won't get into that though.
It was obviously. I look back at it and I'm thinking that was very, very brazen of me to do it at that point. As soon as it happened, as soon as the news came out, I was like, "Gotta get on that." But I guess it's like, it was. I look back at it, I was kind of very brazen of me doing it, but it got me the position where I am now, and I'm just like, I've known the bassist of Mechromorph for a very long time. It's got to be like 6-7 years now. But it was a very weird transition. But I'm thankful for what's gone on, I guess, in the weirdest of ways, because it's like not only a band. I've been in a few bands, but it's just kind of like it's never really gone somewhere. We've never had the same sort of views on direction. Whereas, like with Mechromorph now, I can go as heavy as I want in vocals. We've all got direction of where we want to be and who we want to play with, and just shows and where we want to go. And obviously, in the direction of recording and stuff, these guys give me free reign of like they help me out with lyrics as well. But we all have conversations about it. It's kind of a thing where I look back at this and I didn't think it would have happened, but I'm glad it has. So it's a good situation that's gone on, and I'm looking forward to what goes on in the future, because there's big things.
Yeah. So what do you like? What do you hope to bring then as like a vocalist to the band then that hasn't been done? Like, you know, what's going to be your flair onto it?
I think I've spoken to Lewis about this a couple of times, but it's been over. I think the kind of bands that have influenced me over the years, like Acacia Strain, Lamb of God, what old school Whitechapel, Cannibal Corpse. There's a lot of venom. What I look at that, like, obviously like spitting pure venom, and it's kind of a lot of aggression, and I think I'm not shitting on people or bands or vocalists, but it's like there's a lot of things now that it doesn't really seem like a lot of energy. I don't know if you guys agree, but it's just like
I agree.
I feel like a lot of bands, like, they see something that works for someone else and they just like copy and paste it.
Yeah.
Like, it's what I see, like a lot of bands doing that, where you instantly like listen to them and go, oh, they sound like, and then insert band name here.
yeah.
So it's like, it's good that, you know, you have the view of, we want to do something that's ours, that, you know, has our own staple on it, that you listen to it and you know that's us. Sort of thing, because you do just get like a lot of bands that end up in this sort of thing where they're inspired, but then they just kind of like go with it, and they just they kind of just follow the same tune, but they don't go, oh, what if we added this? What if we added that? What if we added this?
Yeah.
I feel like the scene suffers from that sort of thing.
Yeah, because I think, like, you know, it's okay to show your influences and you want to be, you know, show, oh, I love these bands, these are how they've influenced me, this is my, you know, added so much to our sound. But when it becomes like a copycat, you know what I mean, of another band, and like, oh yeah, you sound exactly like them, it's like, that's not what you want to hear, really.
Yeah.
So I think that's good. And you've obviously, I can see that even from the bands you've listed, you've got such a variation of different bands in there. Like, you know, you got Acacia String, you said Lamb of God. Like, these are all very different sounding bands with different vocal styles. So I think like having that approach off the bat is going to be really good.
I think as well, like, as when it comes to our sort of sound in general, we all have very different influences. Like George, the lead guitarist, he's more into his like old school death metal sort of shit. Matt loves his thrash. Pat, our bassist, he loves his black metal. I'm into my hardcore, and obviously Khan loves all that stuff he's just listed, which I'm very in the very much same boat as Khan. Fucking love the Casey Strain, old school Whitechapel, that old school deathcore type shit, and that definitely does play a part in our sound and what we previously wrote, because we all just put it all together, and it just, I don't know. I think we can be capable of a lot more, but we choose to stay in that little niche for now. But whether we choose to expand on our sound in future, I don't know, it's a possibility, but we just love that brutal heavy shit.
Yeah, that's sick, man. Like, honestly, I remember when I first listened to you, because obviously we had download, and like I would listen to the Mechromorph. I thought you guys were fucking sick. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you guys are fucking mental. Like, I remember like I think as well, Caleb showing me that video of some guy at your gig getting fucking body slammed. Like, everyone got like fucking smashed on the floor.
Yeah, that was at I think it was at Spicy Fest. It was either Spicy Fest or the Chamber of Malice show, one of the two. But yeah, that was fucking ridiculous. I just remember looking up, because I'm the drummer, so I don't really see a lot because my hair gets in my face, I get all sweaty, get sweat in my eyes, all that sort of shit. I just look up and see this guy just get fucking head planted into the ground. And I was just like, what the fuck? I hope he's okay. But
I
he
remember
was out
you
cold.
showing me that video though. And I was like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he was out cold. It was fucked. I hope he's good now.
Yeah.
I mean, he might not be later on.
Yeah.
Like, let's face it, like, it might catch up with him.
Probably doesn't remember much, to be honest.
It was like fucking. Yeah, I remember seeing that video. I was like, fuck.
There might be a lot more of that happening at future shows though. So
yeah. Oh, well, yeah. It's like you don't want to say hopefully, but definitely hopefully. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like,
I mean, the chances are it will happen. Khan's a wrestler, so it's very fucking. It'll be him body slamming people in the ground next, probably.
Yeah, we wanted to ask you, didn't we?
Yeah,
like, about
well,
that?
that's what we wanted to jump into, because obviously Lewis did also mention that you did wrestling. I want to just know, like, so how did you get into it? Because I understand that in Britain there's not much of a market. Like, well, there's not a lot of like places you can go to learn wrestling.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, America is like bigger for that.
yeah,
Like, do you know what I mean? So
quite big on it. I mean, it's started more. I would have said over the last few years it started to get so much more better in the UK with wrestling, but I'm by any chance not as big as I'd like to be yet with like but there's loads of promotions now in the UK where, like, I got into it, got to be about 7 years ago now. But I started training, properly training when I was in Dagenham near London. But it was a little school, and then I started doing a few matches which were absolutely terrible. Like, I look back at them now, and it's like that they are horrible matches. But I've improved. I hope. But yeah, it's a tough thing to get into. A lot of training, got to keep your body on top form, and just it's weird. Like, I've had to learn to balance. Like, obviously I've been doing band stuff and doing wrestling around the same time, so it's kind of like trying to balance them, because like you have obviously most gigs, like metal gigs, happen on the weekends or weekdays depending where you're playing, and most wrestling shows happen on the weekends as well. So it's just trying to find that balance of like where to go.
Yeah, sounds time consuming, like, trying to find the balance between the two, because like you said, they both take up so much time.
Yeah,
to be able to do
quite demanding things.
big commitments.
Like, with this year, I think I've only maybe wrestled once or twice, but that was at the start of the year. But it's been a very weird year without wrestling, and also all my wrestling mates and everything like that. It's just kind of like there have been certain shows that have run during this, which I kind of get, but obviously there's a pandemic going on, and it's kind of a bit unsafe. But obviously, if you're doing the whole COVID secure thing, then great. But like, I just wouldn't. I don't think I would risk it at this time.
Yeah.
But during this year,
Yeah.
it should come back next year. But when it does, it's going to be buzzing. Honestly, it's going to come back with a bang, and so will shows like obviously doing like live stuff in Mechromorph. It's going to be a buzzing time. It's literally going to be great.
That's what we were kind of talking about that like the other day. We were like anything. I think anything now that anyone's into, like next year, like when like things are easy, it's easier to do things. There's like there's more precautions put into it. Everything's just gonna fucking boom. I know for a fact.
Yeah.
I was saying to Brad, I am never passing up the opportunity to go to a gig ever again in my entire life. I was like, I'm never gonna go. Nah, that gig's too far. I'm not gonna bother going. I'll be waiting ones for fucking London. Like, I'll be fucking going down just to fucking go.
Yeah, they've all been like announcing tours, like Behemoth and stuff like that, and By Art is Murder, and like I just want to go to all of them.
Yeah,
every single one.
Well, I was looking.
Trust me, if there's Behemoth show near me, I'm even if it's far away, I'm shooting straight to that. I've not seen them guys yet, and I really want to see them.
Yeah,
me and they're so good.
I saw them at Download last year. They were fucking mind blowing.
Playing with Carcass as well.
Good.
Mate, I Download last year. That lineup was so fucking good. That
was smashing.
So fucking mint. Like fucking Tool were like my favourite.
Oh man, that just fucking blew my mind.
Yeah, well, I remember I tried convincing Brad for like, fuck it, I mean months to come. Yeah, and you're like, no, I don't want to.
Yeah, because it's in fucking Berlin. Guys, I can get a plane.
You was in Berlin the week after, so you could have done it. You could have done it. Yeah, true.
It's a bit expensive.
But I was like, oh, you said you wanted to get a day ticket though, just to see Tool.
I mean, now I regret it obviously because I don't know
I remember
Tool now.
straight after I texted him saying you fucking missed out, man. You were fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Honestly, on the thought of shows though, I think the best lineup I've seen, and that was a few years ago now. But I think properly a live show. I can't remember what venue it was now, but it was Suicide Silence headlining. This not with Mitch, but it was with Eddie. It was Suicide Silence, By Art is Murder, Black Tongue, and Fit for an Autopsy.
That is quite a lineup, isn't it?
That's a dirty lineup.
I do like Suicide Silence, but I feel like By Art is Murder should have headlined that because By Art honestly top tier. Love them. Love
Yeah,
them.
yeah. They're one of my favorite bands. In my bedroom at home, I've got like a giant Die Artist Murder flag that like takes up like 40% of the wall, like just hung up.
I bet you can't wait to see them with like Maled then as well.
Mate, I can't wait. It's like my two favorite
good.
bands playing together. Like.
But Black Tongue were mad. Like, just like I've listened to Black Tongue since their first EP, and their evolution from the first EP till that like their new album is madness, because it's just like they've gone from like really really heavy beatdown to like this death metal like doom, and it's like when I first heard the new album, like it blew me away. Like it's one of the first albums that has actually just like blew my mind properly, and it was like that was a really really good album.
No, it's proper filth.
It's mental as well, considering that like kind of what happened in between the last release and that release. Like the fucking vocalist fell out of a fucking van.
I heard about that. They get like really pissed up and just fell out of the tour bus or something while it was moving.
Almost died.
I mean, from like the new album, it sounds like they recorded him falling out of the van and put that on the vocal track. That's how
Honestly, I fuck it. Black Tongue is the only band I've been knocked out seeing like live ever. Only band I've ever been knocked out seeing live.
They are fucking terrifying live, to be fair. I saw him with the Black Heart in Camden, and it was the heaviest gig I've been to.
Oh, mate.
Like, hands down.
I think
fucking
the
room
gig I've been knocked
just
out
shaking. It was fucking insane.
Yeah. Well, have you ever seen that like story I remember seeing an interview with them, and they, cruise ship shows. So they got booked on that, didn't know it was a cruise ship show, really. Got on there, and like, oh shit, it is a cruise ship show. And they're fucking on this cruise ship, and they start playing, and there was like old people that somehow booked on this cruise. And like they said that they came in, and obviously like they said that the room was pretty much empty, and there were three guys just knocking the fuck out of each other in the middle of the room. And then these old people like came in, so went on, I'm like, fuck that, and then just left.
When they came in the pit,
like these old people.
All my dentures.
There's like a few people stood around like watching from the start. A few old people that came in, and then like these three guys knocking the fuck out of each other. And then he started like hyping up the crowd, going, right, everyone, I want to see some fucking movement. I want to see some fucking. And literally, as it were building up, they heard the breakdown, so everyone started getting ready. And all these old people just went, fuck that. And then ran out the room. Like, honestly, man, I fucking love Black Tongue.
That's brilliant. I'd see that video.
I'll send everyone it because it's fucking hilarious.
I think the only show I've been knocked out at was it 2012 Warped Tour. When they came out, I think it was 2012, when they came over to Ali Pali, and it was there was downstairs area and Acacia Strain were playing, and when Doomblade came on, just at the start, I just see this bloody like massive boot come spin kicking me straight round the face, just right there. As soon as it gets round you, I'm like, boom.
Mate, the exact same thing happened to me at Black Tongue. All I remember from the rest of that night is a Nike trainer sole. The sole of a Nike trainer, and then that's it.
I think I came close to getting knocked out when I saw Betraying the Martyrs, though, because there was a pit going on, and I was trying to walk through it with a couple of drinks from me and my mate, and this guy in an Amur t-shirt and cap, and it's only got to be one of them guys. I do like Amur, but it's just kind of like, why?
It has to be the Amur guy.
But he was wearing.
At least it wasn't the Attila guy.
Oh god, he was wearing MMA gloves in the pit, and as soon as I'm going through, he throws a punch and just gets me in the neck. Then he throws his elbow and just gets me right at the top there, and I'm like, my beer's getting knocked out of my hand. I'm pissed, and I'm like, I have to pick up my soul and move before I wreck anyone.
But that, like the basis of that, then, like, what's like the funniest gig stories that you guys have had? So I know that you've had other bands as well. So like Mechromorph and also bands that you've been like, what's the funniest gig stories that you can recall?
Well, I can't speak for Carl when I talk about this because he wasn't in the band at that point. But we played a show with Bound in Fear in Kings Lynn. I think it was like 2 years ago. It was at Halloween. And there was this other band on the lineup called Tyrant. It's not. It wasn't something that happened at the show, but it all transpired afterwards and prior to it. But this other band got really pissed off with the fact that this band called Tyrant had used the same name as them. So they started messaging us. I could probably find the messages now from this guy, but they just started giving us loads of shit for this other band using the same name, and we was like, why are you dragging us into it? Like, literally, you have nothing to do with it. But later on, after that gig, they like pretty much the next day they put up a post saying, yeah, we're not together anymore because like, all of that shit.
Things have happened.
Yeah, but they I'm not being horrible. They weren't very great. But they that was eventful. Yeah, big up Greg for messaging us and giving us a good entertainment that night. We was all cooped up in a hotel in Kings Lynn, and we was just receiving all these messages from this guy called Greg, giving us all this shit. It's like, what the fuck?
Why are you involved in this? We just want to chill out.
Pretty much. We just wanted to have a few bevies and fucking enjoy the night, but Greg's giving us shit from Italy.
What about you, Can? What's your funniest gig story?
I wouldn't really say they're hilarious, but it was funny from my point of view, two of them. So one was, I can't remember the band was called Causeway. It was kind of like this Parkway Drive sounding metalcore band I had like years and years ago, and it makes me cringe to this day what we did, because I'm just like, nah, I didn't like the sound. And you know when you realise like you were shit, but you just try to cover it up.
Yeah.
There was one point where I didn't really come into doing gutturals at this point. This must have been like 6 years ago. But I screamed so hard, but I had a full on like nosebleed, and
Jesus Christ!
Like literally, I saw white. And just my nose started like bleeding bad, and I'm like, I was only like 3 songs in, and we had like 6 to play, and I'm like, oh. So I had to run up into the toilet mid session, and there was like 50 people out there just waiting, standing around like lemons. Was I had to clean myself up, and just for the banter of it, I remember it was probably around the same, probably 4 years ago. Just a cover I did with Mate's band, but they didn't tell me because we practiced it ages and ages ago. But we ended up doing a metal cover of Gangnam Style, and it just I was trying not to corpse because I was up there and I'm like, do I even know the words? Like, am I going to have to do a just an audible? Just mouth it along and
You know what? I wonder how many bands do that, you know? Like where the vocalist sometimes forgets the words and just starts doing like a fucking big squeal.
It probably happens a lot.
I mean, that's the good
It
part.
often does. I'm gonna say this. It probably does happen a lot because from how a lot of bands go out in the sesh or just have a few drinks or like before the gig happens. And then just get up there and just like, yeah, oh no, I forgot the words. I can honestly, I'm going to honestly say this now. It will probably happen with me at some point. It's already happened once. Never say never.
Mate, it happened to me like last week, and I'd wrote the lyrics the night before for fucking recording. It happened to me like literally like last week. I was like, fuck. They're like proper fresh in my brain as well. Like, honestly, fuck, I'm so shit at remembering stuff on the spot. Like, honestly, just put me on the spot.
To be honest,
That's why I hate doing like exams and shit, because it's like the minute someone goes, "What's this?" I know for a fact it's in there, but if you put me on the spot, Nah, I'm not going to be able to answer that.
Cut it now.
Screaming out for the best.
When people ask me something, I'm like, ask me, and then ask me again in 5 minutes, and then you'll get the answer.
I imagine like as long as
I
you're
feel
doing
that.
the same sort of melody, you know what I mean?
Oh no,
It just sounds like the words.
you'll be surprised.
Oh, really?
You'll be surprised. Like some of the recordings that you was when you was with us.
Yeah.
At what I wrote. I look back going, I'm going to have to change that bit there.
Did anyone notice?
Yeah, of course people know. I sent it on the group chat. Of course people noticed that shit. Jordan had them memorized before me. So, like, one thing I wanted to ask you is, like, so is there any like future releases for Mechromorph coming soon? Like,
Works. Oh.
Well, can't give away too much, but yes, there will be something in the very near future.
No, Lewis, you've given this away.
Well, I mean, fuck it. It's out there. Yeah, we're going to be putting out something new shortly, very soon.
Mm.
Can't give you a time frame, but it'll be sooner rather than later. That's for sure.
In 2 minutes.
2 minutes. It's a Headbangers exclusive voice.
Thank you guys. It's such a privilege.
Thanks too, because this is Cullen's first appearance with us, and this is actually our way of sort of announcing him in a way, because we haven't actually made it public yet.
You kind of like allowed us this moment because
Yeah, for sure, man. Like, I thought it would be a cool way to get him introduced to everyone, and it's a good platform, you know, just to talk in general. So cheers for the opportunity. And
yeah, no, it's alright. I'm sure our fans will be very grateful as well.
The thing is, like, this is what I like about doing this podcast is like you get to talk to like so many people, and like it's like you get to like really learn shit about like how people approach writing music differently, and also like just the different personalities you get in bands. Like it's mental. Like I've never met anyone where it's like had an interview where going that went the same way as the last one.
Yeah,
like each one's got its own like little twinge to it. It's really weird. Like our Albion one, were, like we talked about quite serious subjects about like venues and stuff, and then the Fetal Juice one we talked about smoking weed at Download. Yeah, like it's everything's so different. Like it's mad. Like,
well, on the basis of that as well, like so when you put the the drumsticks down, the microphone down, like what is Mechromorph? You know, when the band's not there, like what do you guys do as hobbies? I know you mentioned your wrestling. Like, what are your interests?
I am majorly into like gaming, so like anything like Ark Survival, Monster Hunter, Doom, just anything like that. And I probably go fishing too much for my own betterment because I enjoy the shit out of that. Mostly after anything that has teeth. But aside from that, just like anything to do with David Attenborough and dinosaurs and stuff like that, it's just me. Like how I've grown up and stuff. Major fossil collector as well, so I've probably got about 190 fossils at home. What I've collected or bought or found.
How did you get into it? Was it something that's always like kind of stuck with you as a kid, like like a little fascination?
I think it's been a mixture of like obviously watching nature programs as I've grown up and dinosaur stuff, but like I remember watching. I think what got me into was watching Jurassic Park as a kid, and also watching Godzilla. That's one thing. I'm a major Godzilla fan. Like anything to do with kaiju or anything to do with like the MonsterVerse, get me straight in that because I can sink my teeth into that any day. Besides I think it was Godzilla 2000, the American one. No, never.
Yeah, no, I thought that way they made it look like a T-Rex.
Yeah,
like some kind of T-Rex on steroids.
Yeah, is that the one when they find the can of worms and they're like, oh no, it's Godzilla. They're like a plane wreck or something and find like a tin can full of worms, and then that's how they figure out that Godzilla's coming. It just seems a bit fucking far-fetched.
I know.
That's on that kind of vibe, isn't it?
I tell you what, like, have you ever like watched some of the early 2000 movies that you like loved as a kid back, and then realised there was complete dog shit, and then you like start questioning like your younger self, like, why the fuck did I even watch that? Like I watched what did I watch recently? Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Oh God!
No, I'm not
Oh,
even kidding.
God.
I'm not even kidding. As a kid, I thought that shit was great. I was like, this is a fucking amazing. Like, this is the best show ever, the best movie ever made. And then I fucking just randomly watched it on Netflix. Just be like, oh, I used to watch this as a kid. I wonder how it holds up. Terribly. It holds up fucking awful.
Is it one of those things like that you watch back? It's really shit, but really good at the same time.
No.
I love watching bad movies.
No.
This is the best
There's a
thing.
funny story. There's a funny story behind that the Shark Boy and Lava Girl movie, because I heard this from one of my wrestling mates. And there's a wrestler in America called Shark Boy. He's at this company called TNA, but he trademarked the name before the film came out.
Oh shit!
Really?
He stopped wrestling after the film came out because he sued them. I can't remember how much he got, but they got in trouble for using his name.
Oh, mate. He's probably going to get another paycheck soon because they're making a remake.
They're making
Actually.
Yeah, I'm not even shitting you, right?
Oh, mate, I'm going to be there.
Mate, Netflix is releasing Shark Boy and Lava Girl 2. They're grown up and they've had kids. And
What,
the kids
together?
like... Yeah,
That's
and the
a bit
kids
weird.
like
They're
half
one
Shark
brother
Boy.
and sister.
That's what I
Wait, I
thought.
don't know. I'll have to rewatch the movie again. It wasn't clear. It wasn't like 100% clear, but they've had kids and like the half Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
They really are scraping the barrel out there.
Yeah, like
Netflix.
Oh, no, they weren't. I'm thinking of Spy Kids. I'm a fucking idiot.
Spy Kids is great. Don't shit on that. Do not
Yeah,
shit on Spy Kids.
Yeah, I used to love Spy Kids actually.
Yeah, Spy Kids is sick.
you know, and that Spy Kids still holds up.
Yeah, Spy Kids holds
I'll
up.
still watch that as an adult and be like, this is some good shit.
I
You
still
know
know
what?
there's
Netflix. I feel like Netflix has taken anything.
Oh mate,
Like
some of the shit I've seen on Netflix, I'm like, why did they even put that on there?
I know.
Like,
there's like some really good films, and then like the rest of it. Like, if you ever go into like one category of films, the top one's amazing, but you notice that you've seen them all, and you get down to the real bottom ones, and you're like, this is fucking horrendous.
well, there was one film that I watched. I think you suggested it to me, Lewis. You know the film where there's different tiers in this prison, and there's like
Oh, yeah.
goes down the middle.
Oh,
It was like a
Oh,
French film,
The
and it was
Platform.
it was so good.
yeah.
The platform, it was so good.
Yeah, that's
Watching
such a head
fuck
fuck
me.
of a movie.
Oh mate, the ending kind of a bit weird though, don't you think?
Yeah.
It was so odd. Like, but, also another thing that I wanted to ask you is, so like, how do you feel like about? So obviously venues have shut down and that. How do you feel like they can recover from it, sort of thing?
To be fair, I don't fucking know. Like,
Yeah.
it's such a weird situation for everyone because there's so many businesses and shit shutting down. There's no uncertain. There's no like, what's the word? Uncertainty.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, there's no like.
Like
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Like, it's mental to think. Like, I never thought we'd get to like a point of this. Like,
No.
where
yeah,
everything's
like,
froze. It's really
Yeah.
fucking odd.
Nobody
Like,
knows what's happening.
I
like you
think
know, go on.
before the pandemic, like everyone took, without even realizing, took everything for granted.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely, like, I don't know, you don't really think about what you appreciate until it's gone. It's like that sort of thing.
Too right.
Like live music. Like I remember a few months ago, I went to, there's like a big park near sort of near where I live, Castle Park, and there was like this jazz band just jamming out in the middle of this park, and I was so fucking happy because it was the only bit of live music I'd seen all year, minus seeing Sleep Token in January, and I was just stood there like, can I watch this for a bit? And my
Don't
friends
lie.
were like, no, we've got to go.
Don't lie, you was throwing shapes, wasn't you? You was throwing shapes, right?
I wanted to. So bad. Start punching all the old cunts having their picnics.
Just running around going, fuck you.
So,
Slapping like
Two
the
meters,
wizard
cunt.
around.
Look, I think in a way, like what's happened sort of had like a positive effect like on me personally, because I felt like, I don't know, like talking to people now or like seeing people, I'm much more like friendly. Do you know what I mean? Like before I would, I kind of would, I'd be like, yeah, I'd be really uninterested in the conversation. Say if it was like just someone at work or something like that. I found myself being like, yeah, and kind of out of a conversation a lot. But now when I see people in like person and like over calls and stuff, I'm like weirdly like grateful that I even have time to talk. Like I can even talk to them because I've been in my house with my fucking parents and my family all like through months,
You're just
not
like,
seeing anyone else.
It's like, really, Karen? Is that how you made the stew? That's so interesting.
No, like genuinely now at work when people are talking to me, even if it's like a subject, I'm not like I'm 50-50 and I'm like, wow, what? I'm like asking them questions on like their favourite crisps. I'm like, well, yeah, but like I'm sure Walker's is way better than like all that. Like, to be fair though, hot chili Doritos are better. Like having proper in-depth conversations about like little shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, and before I wouldn't be like that. I'd just kind of just look and crack on. Where now when there's like a conversation available, like I just like proper jump at it because I feel like I ain't had it in ages. It's really weird. Like,
Yeah.
and then it's just been shit not going to gigs.
No,
and
Yeah.
seeing bands like. That's the thing, like that's the worst part about it. Just
I think it is the worst bit.
not even
No,
seeing like fucking all the tours that got cancelled this year, man.
Oh man,
It's disgusting.
Oh
I'm
man,
so pissed off about Fury Fest. So pissed off.
yeah, same man. Honestly, I was so down. A Spicy Fest as well. I was looking forward to Spicy Fest, man. We're
I'm
gonna
down
have
that
first one.
Bloodstock though, to be honest.
Oh, that's the biggest one.
I know. I was pretty upset about Bloodstock.
Yeah.
Because I remember just before they announced that it was getting rescheduled and cancelled and stuff like that. I remember we were talking and we were like, oh, do you think they won't cancel it? It'll probably like be a thing of the past by then.
Yeah, it was.
And then
Bloodstock will be all right. This will all phased out by come August, surely. No.
Yeah, we're still.
No, we're still.
No, I think it was because like Vicky was making out like it was still happening, and then it got to like almost like a month before, and then that's when it happened. Like there wasn't any communication. Like, oh yeah, it might happen. You know, it seems like we're still going ahead of it, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, we're cancelled. But you're getting 5 days though, which I suppose is pretty good. But
wait, we're getting 5 days.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've not even that shit.
Yeah.
We're getting 5 days.
5 days.
Oh man,
and 4 days of bands.
I'm happy about that now.
It's decent.
I'm really happy. I just tell you what I always hate about festivals, they're waiting for bands to come on. Like, why did they have that day where you just do not? Like,
I love it because you get to like hang out with people and then get fucked and just have a good time. Like, I think if it wasn't for the first like 2 days of like the Wednesday and Thursday, I wouldn't have probably met you, Nathan.
I know, yeah.
Like,
so
I would have been off,
Yeah.
fucking, I don't know, in the mud somewhere.
It's so mad because obviously me and Kaylin were gonna camp with you, but the people that we were camping with were like, like we don't know because we haven't met these people.
Yeah.
So like, what? Oh, fucking okay then. You know what I mean? Like, but then when we ran into you, it's so weird how we literally camped like across the fucking like apple from each other. Like,
Yeah,
like, you know?
that happened like with me with someone else that I know. There's this other band that we're friends with. They're sort of local to us. They're called Killer Corp. We played quite a few local shows with them. And I was literally stood on the path next to our tent talking to Perry, and then I hear someone going, Lewis! And I turn around, and their fucking guitarist is literally behind me, setting up his tent. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing there, John? Like, of all the places you could have chose to camp, you decided to choose right fucking there. What are the chances?
It's such. You know what? I look back at downloading. It's so fucking funny. But I remember when fucking Caleb ate that penguin that had the fucking plastic melted to it.
Oh, is that when he started putting his hands in the fire?
Yeah, when we had that fire and he just started putting his hands in there. He just put shit in there. He was fucked because we were on edibles like pretty much all day. So at this point, like his skin, I don't know what had happened, but any like pain, he like, it took about an hour for it to set in.
Yeah, I remember that because we was like, dude, don't put your hands in the fire. You're gonna get 3rd-degree burns. And he was like, no, I can pick it up. Look, and he was just picking up hot shit, like literally holding fire in his hand. I'm like, dude, come on, don't do that.
He woke up the next morning.
Was he okay?
I was like, stick your hand in the fucking fire.
What went through his brain of like, oh, fire, I can pick that up. Oh, nice.
I don't even know. I remember being on the phone in my tent as well, and he just sort of come in. He didn't like. He just sort of invited himself into the tent, took the phone off me, started speaking to my missus about accountancy, and then was like, yeah, she seems very nice, and gave it back and just fucked off out of the tent again without saying a word.
That's so Caleb, though.
That's why I love him.
Yeah.
He just does shit that it like makes you laugh. But he doesn't even think about it, he just does it and it makes you laugh. Like he just like say something and it like proper catches you off guard. Like he'll say something that you didn't like about a situation in a way that you wouldn't even think of. You know, why would you even think about it like that? But it's so funny.
But when you're at like a festival with Caleb, it is an experience in itself because you know you'll be walking with him and he'll just like dive in a bin, which is based on true story by the way. He didn't actually dive in a bin.
Yeah,
he just
at Bloodstock they found him in like a bin.
He'll be walking with him and he'll just be
surprise
somewhere that'll be somewhere else.
Yeah, it's mental. Honestly, that download is like probably like one of my top tier like festival stories. Like, because all the weird shit that happened. Like I remember as well. Like on the car ride there, I knew my ex was going, so I was like, I really hope I don't run into her. And I remember Caleb just turning around going, "There's like 50,000 people there or some shit like that. What are the chances of running into her?" And I'm not even kidding. The minute we got out the car and into the camp, she was right there. I was like, "You fucking jinxed it, man! Like, how the fuck? What's the chances?" Like,
You do find that though, like it's so strange because you're in a field full of thousands of people, and then you so happen to just bump into somebody you know, randomly.
I know people from my high school that I hadn't seen in like years there. Like, oh, Nathan. I'm like, what the fuck? How the fuck are you here?
The people just appear. How?
It's so weird. I saw a bucket. There's this guy that at this nightclub that me and Brad go to, and he's called Vulcan. And I'm not even. This guy's like a mythological man.
Yeah,
I'm not even kidding.
We think he's like a time lord.
We're not even kidding.
At once.
No matter where you are at any point in time, he's somehow there. Like all the fucking time. Like every time you go somewhere, even if you go to like a shop, like the Co-op or something, he's just there. He's like, it's so weird. I'm like, how the fuck is this guy like everywhere we go? Like, we saw him at Bloodstock, you know, like carrying this girl, and he goes, "Hey everyone," and we're like, what the fuck? Like, how many times is it we got to go through this shit? Why are you always places where we're at? Do you know what I mean? Like, how is it possible? Like,
maybe he's your guardian angel.
Maybe. To be fair, every time he's there at like a gig or whatever, I always have a good day. I always end up having a good time. So maybe he's like a bit of a guardian angel. One thing I wanted to ask is, obviously, you see a lot of bands taking themselves quite seriously and stuff like that. Would you say that's an important thing, or would you say it's important more not to take yourself seriously and just have fun with it?
I guess
I think
for me, like there's times to be serious and there's times to be funny. Obviously, if it's a very, very important practice, or if like you're recording, or like obviously a practice, like just a practice before you go into like maybe after a few days you go to record like a song or an album or an EP. Just like at those moments, try to like obviously stick to what you're doing and just don't slack off, I guess, because like if you're wondering, like it's all cool to have a laugh and everything like that, but if you're doing something important and it's really like I wouldn't slack off. If you're just like sitting there and not getting involved or just watching or just having a laugh, then cracking. But if we've got something important to do, like if we've got a gig or if we've got a recording the next day, then just like pull your finger out and get on with it. But like aside from that, I'm like I love having a good laugh. Like it's all fun, but when it comes to like serious moments, then as I said, pull your finger out and just get on with it.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. There's like it's like it can be all fun and games, but like if it starts getting in the way of your productivity, sometimes like you need to like have a look, like assess it, and be like, come on, now, what are we doing?
Yeah, you should definitely have the balance. Like obviously take yourself seriously, but being light-hearted with it, and like when you got important shit to do, like as Khan said, like recording, like playing shows, whatever, like obviously make sure you're on time, be professional, but at the same time the way you perceive yourselves, be a bit light-hearted. You don't have to necessarily paint yourselves as super serious musicians, because at the end of the day you are people, you're not
we're all mates, we're all there to have fun.
I
Yeah.
feel like personally, if a band like take as serious, but they don't take themselves too seriously personally, then I don't know. They just feel more human to me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's important.
Less of we are people that play music. This is our music. Have that sense of humor with your sense of professionalism. There definitely is a balance. I think it's just a matter of finding it.
Because you do definitely see like bands where they come on and they're almost robotic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like hi. They say hi and then they do just stuff to hype up the crowd, or some of them don't do anything. Where they just do the track and then fuck off. Yeah, it's like there's an important I think there is an important balance of knowing when to take the actual act of it very seriously, and pull out the best thing you possibly can. But when you're on stage, have fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
Like,
the
have
thing.
fun with it. Just enjoy yourself. At the end of the day, that's why most people go, because if the band's having fun, you can tell everyone else has fun, because it feeds just straight from. It's a give and take relationship. You know what I mean? Like, both people give and take from that sort of experience when you see a band live.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, what does... Sorry, go on.
No, I was literally just about to say, like, if you're not having fun playing your music, then it's definitely not for you. Like,
it does make things a bit awkward if you're very, very serious. If you come on stage and you're like, yeah, we are, we're so and so, and we hope you enjoy this. Play songs, you just don't even interact with people, and it's just like, just try to move around, try to have a bit of banter with the crowd, or have a bit of banter with your bandmates.
Yeah. Honestly, I've seen bands like that where it's like you sit there and you're watching and you're like, okay, man.
Yeah, I think there's like an importance of the band to engage with you. You know what I mean? And just like make sure you get involved.
Sometimes like you need that sort of kick up the arse from I've been to gigs where like you could tell like it was probably the band's like an early gig for them, and they're being a bit nervous and they're not hyping up the crowd or all, and then people just stood there and they'll be like playing really sick songs, and then you're like, oh man, like if you could hype the crowd up like a little bit, the entire room would be spinning. Like, do you know what I mean? But like you just get sometimes where people are just like straight, I'm here to play music. There we go.
Yeah.
I've played the music and now I'm going home. Do you know what I mean? Like you get that sometimes.
Absolutely.
I mean, sorry, I've interrupted you again.
No, that's fine, mate. Go on.
No, go on.
We're interviewing you, not me. Go on.
I was just about to say, like on to the point Nathan just made. The thought's just gone out of my brain. I'm sorry. Sorry. What did you say a second ago, Nathan? Just remind me, and then it will come back.
It's like, like when you see like certain bands where it's just, I'm here to play music, and now I'm going home, and it's like as well where you see bands sometimes where it's like the first couple gigs maybe, and like they are playing sick stuff, but they're not interacting with the crowd too much, and it's like, oh, if you just did that, it'll kick off. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like definitely, like as well, like I feel like a lot of bands feed off the crowd's energy. So if they're not, and vice versa, like the crowd will obviously feed off the band's energy. So if you're not bouncing back and forth that energy, you're just going to be stagnant, and you're not going to have a good time, and the crowd are probably going to walk away thinking, oh, they were all right, but it's not going to be anything memorable. But if you have that energy and it's constant throughout, then I feel like you're going to have a lot better time playing shows, and people are going to have a lot more of a better time enjoying watching you play, and they'll be more willing to watch you again.
Yeah, 100%.
It's gotta be a good show.
I think my biggest pet peeve for people at shows is, when it's at every show, there's always that one guy that stands at the back like this.
Yeah.
They're just not enjoying it. I'm like, why the fuck have you even spent money on the ticket? Like, why the fuck have you even bothered? Because if you're just gonna stand there and look so unimpressed, it's like, who the fuck are you waiting for to come on? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I've seen too many people do that.
Honestly, that's my biggest pet peeve, because it's like, if you're not like, fair enough, you don't want to mosh, don't mosh. You know what I mean? But at least look like you're enjoying it. But when you get that guy, it's like, looks like he's just waiting.
You get them at black crowds mostly as well.
Yeah, no, you mate.
Like you get someone who's like, it's like, just listen to the album.
You can kind of like understand with black metal, because it's like one of those things where it's like quite atmospheric.
I know.
But
I
like, you
mean,
say if you're like a proper brutal gig and you're just one guy at the bottom.
at least stand with a smile on your face.
Yeah, that was me at Patushka. And then someone started singing Happy Birthday, and then I just lost my shit because it was too funny.
Oh, yeah, with all the candles.
yeah, it was.
Honestly, I was gutted I didn't get to see Batushka fucking.
Oh, mate.
But because I was looking forward, I was like, mate, I've never seen a band like that many candles before.
Yeah.
He fell over.
Oh, yeah, imagine that in the long
Set their
clothes.
robe on.
Yeah. That's gonna happen one day. Like I reckon, I would put money on that shit. Like next headline, Patushka vocalist has to
Burnt to a crisp.
burn to a crisp on stage. Turns out having all those candles were a bad
It's happened a few times to people. I know it's happened to James Hetfield and the guy from Gojira.
Oh
But
yeah.
the guy from Gojira just fucking carried on, even though he like set his face on fire. That was fucking insane.
What a trooper.
I know, like me. How dedicated. You know what? If that happened to me, I won't be gigging for like the rest of the year.
No,
I'd be like, mate, fireball went straight in my fucking face. I can't do it anymore. It's a bad omen. Bad omen, man.
So what is your dream tour then as a band? Like no limits, you can pick whoever you want. Dead or alive.
That's a good.
I think with me, I guess I think in like I've got two things what I really want to do. There's like either a big tour with either like big one for me would be Acacia Strain or Ingested, like playing with either one of them. If when Ingested starts touring, would love to play with them.
Absolutely.
And if there was ever a chance to play with Acacia Strain, if they just did something over here, then if that opportunity came up, my heart would be coming out of my throat, literally. But in sort of local things, would love to. I think Lewis. Is it Moth Jewel?
Oh yeah, Mothjaw.
George's other one. Yeah, would love to play with them, doing a local, or my brother's band, Akora. And me and my brother always spoke about this. Just to play a gig together would be like cracking. It'd be really, really good. But that's in terms of me. There's loads of bands I would play with, but that lot there be good for me.
Yeah. That sounds fucking sick.
Oh, yeah.
What's yours, Lewis?
To be fair, like smaller UK bands, I think Albion and Final Words would be sick bands to go on tour with.
What, mate? Why, you can sort that out right now.
Hands on it. But yeah, fucking because we've played quite a few shows with the Albion boys and we get on quite well with them. And obviously, Final Words, I'm pretty much best mates with Dan, so like that would be sick. But on the big spectrum of bands, just I don't know, any of the bands that sort of influence us would just be fucking insane.
Yeah.
Really. Like when we played the show Chamber of Malice, I'd been listening to them since I was in college when Mech started. And that was just fucking unreal to me, just to be playing with a band that from outside of the UK that I've been listening to since I was like 16, 17 years old. Like that was just fucking insane to me. It still is thinking about it. And Extermination Dismemberment as well. That was fucking ridiculous. Like I never thought we'd get to play with them.
I think also one band, again, Annotations and Autopsy, would love to play with them. That would be a sick fucking show.
Yeah, I've always thought about like my dream probably like Dahlia Murder as well. That would be a fucking banger. Like that new album they put out is amazing. Oh, I love that one. Fucking sick. What another thing I kind of wanted to ask was like, what I always find this interesting. Like, what got you into like heavier music? You know what I mean? Like, what got you into the type of music you listen to now? Like, because it's so we always get like a varied amount of answers from it.
Yeah.
Plus, I think it's very unique to the person. Like, what kind of got them into it? So,
Everyone's
what got you both into it? Like for yous?
Yeah. What's the origin story?
I think for me, obviously when I was growing up, I wasn't a metalhead from the off start. But when I was growing up, I was listening to a lot of like Eminem and stuff like that. But then I was randomly scrolling through when I was watching Sky. I was scrolling through, found Kerrang, and then I found and didn't really like any stuff on there. Then I found Scuzz, and I can't remember what Gojira song it was. It was Gojira, and I think it was from Mars to Sirius. I think Sirius. I can't remember the fucking song name now. But then there was Dimmu Borgir, Gateways, and when I saw Dimmu Borgir, I was like, it scared me at first because I was young and I was like, what the hell is this? They're all in face paint. There's like horns all around. There's like blood everywhere. And I'm like, this is really cool. And then I got into that. And I really think, like, obviously playing like the old WWE games really got me into metal.
Mm.
Obviously, that introduced me to like Korn, Coal Chamber, and Lamb of God. But I think when I started, the heaviest band I started listening to, aside from when I found Dimmu Borgir, was Cannibal Corpse. And I think as soon as I started transitioning onto that side of YouTube, it got me in the direction of like Whitechapel and Job for a Cowboy. And then I started finding all these like old, underground sort of beat down stuff, and yeah,
Straight in the deep end.
It just kind of like went off from there.
Mm,
and
awesome,
now
man.
I'm here.
As if one of the starting bands with Dimmu Borgir.
Yeah.
That took me ages to fucking get into
No,
that.
literally, yeah.
I had to go through the entire new metal phase and everything first. I remember listening to Slipknot going, this is the heaviest shit I've
That's
ever
what I
heard,
thought.
man.
So what you thought about Dimmu Borgir is what I thought about Slipknot when I was in high school. I was like, fucking hell, they wear masks. It's scary shit. And I was like, oh my god.
It's quite mad. Then I think the band that scared me most when I was growing up listening to that was Immortal. I haven't listened to them in time, but when I have listened to them, I have always enjoyed it. But it's that old school sort of black metal, and yeah, I think that's kind of like on the darker verge of a heavy I listen to. But yeah, I think there was a band called Burzum. I think it's Burzum. Can't remember their name. Yeah, I like them. But it's very, very dark and it's very gloomy. But I like that sort of metal on that side of things.
Yeah, well, Burzum, their first album was recorded from a tape recorder that was in the middle of the room. You know what I mean? Like, the shittest way to record anything ever. But fuck, it does work for the theme of the band.
Yeah, it
like,
does,
it's pretty fucking. It's a good album.
It's a unique sound though, didn't it? Like, it's kind of that. Like, you associate that with them. Like, if you listen to anything like that, that's like, well, that sounds kind of Burzum-y, doesn't it? Like,
yeah.
Very sort of lo-fi potato quality type.
Yeah.
You know, you might have been
with a dose of murderous tendencies.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Yeah. Fucking yeah.
I've actually got one of these.
And a tad of arson.
Got a vinyl.
That's awesome.
Sick.
Yeah, literally. It's like fucking. But you know what? Like the entire black metal thing, it feels like a fever dream. Like when you read what actually happened, you're like, this shit actually happened. And real people. Some guy literally went to someone's house and stabbed him just because he thought he'd kill him first, and they burned down churches. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, what the fuck, man? Like, how is this not taught in schools? This is mint.
Yeah, like I watched the Lords of Chaos movie, which like a lot of people will say it's not accurate, but I mean, as a movie, like you wouldn't actually believe that it's based in real life, because even some things like when he kills Euronymous and he's like drinking the chocolate milk, apparently that actually happened. I was like, the lines, everything that's going on, just feels like a sitcom or something.
Yeah, he like legit drank chocolate milk.
Like a piece of his skull for a bass pick or a guitar pick or something. There's a
that was
Necklace.
Yeah, the old vocalist shot himself in the head, and then when they found him, they picked out some of his skull parts, and they all made a necklace for each member of the original member of the band out of a bit of his skull.
Didn't they use the picture of his body as like artwork? As well?
Yeah.
So I think Euronymous almost got fucking arrested for that, because he found him and didn't call the police straight away, and instead decided to use his artistic vision and rearrange a few of the things in the scene, to make a better album cover.
Yeah, like put
And
the
then
knife
called
next
the
to him
police.
and stuff, didn't he? Like,
Yeah.
Oh God.
He'd move the shotgun closer to him, and then like move like a few things out of the background, and then moved his head so it got better framing on it, and then went, "There we go. I'm now gonna call the police about my dead friend." Do you know what I mean? It's like what?
yeah, I'd love to go into his head for a day, just and know what goes on inside that
Yeah.
brain of Euronymous, because he's just such a fucked up guy.
Oh yeah,
Right.
Varg as well. Varg is equally as fucked.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
yeah, that's what I mean, Varg. Sorry, it's just
Yeah.
the fucking nutcase.
I know, like, it's mental. It's like, so have you found his YouTube channel?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, it's been taken down. But well, I remember when it was on, and I used to watch some of it. And I'm like, this is a real guy. Like, he's not even playing a character. Like, this is a real guy that's walking about every day, going to Sainsbury's, getting his shit, going on. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Just living a normal life, and then he's making YouTube videos, killing people, getting away with it, fucking off to France for a bit, and then fucking making like racist videos online sometimes.
I wouldn't
You're
say
like,
that.
"Fuck."
I wouldn't say that he had a normal life. I mean, he lives in the woods, homeschooling his kids, and like gave up all his electronics.
I know, but you could still see him in a shop.
Could you?
You think you don't go out for shops? To
No.
shops? And shit?
I'm pretty
I
sure
definitely
he's
do.
got like a farm or something.
Oh, well, fuck it.
Don't think you'll be seeing him
So,
anytime soon.
what subject were we on? What got you into heavier music? So, Lewis, what got you into heavier music?
for me, it's gonna sound really weird. It was my mum, because she's into like not as heavy as I go, but she likes heavier sort of music. And I was always sort of brought up on like rock and light metal, sort of like Korn, Limp Bizkit, that sort of stuff. I remember like she has this Korn Greatest Hits CD, and she'd always like play it in the car when we go on like long car journeys and stuff. And since a young age, I was sort of like gripped to that sort of heavy side of music. But what really sort of broke the camel's back for me was just when I was 12, she took me to download the first time. 2009, I remember that, the year so well. Fucking Friday night, first band I saw was Killswitch Engage on main stage. And then later that night, Meshuggah were headlining the fourth or third stage.
Mate, you got to see Meshuggah.
And me and my two friends who I went with, because we were in the disabled camp, because my mum's friend has one leg, so we got into the disabled camp, and they just let us go off and do our own thing essentially. So my friend who's a year older, he was like, yeah, there's this band Meshuggah, they're fucking really, really heavy, like you should come see them. And I was like, all right, I'll go with you. I don't really want to be walking around on my own. It's fucking all these big fucking burly hairy men around. I'm a bit scared. 12 years old. Anyway, we walk into the stage, and then these blokes are like, oh no, we've got to get these up the front. So they literally push everyone out the way, get us to the barrier, and my mind was just fucking instantly blown out the fucking back of my skull watching Meshuggah.
Play bleed.
Yes, yeah, it's fucking amazing, because it was not long after Obzin had come out, so it was like mainly all the older stuff. Oh man, it was so good. And then, but the thing that really got me was the Saturday night Slipknot headline, and it was the year they did that film, the DVD. It was the first headline they did of Download, and that was what really hooked me and made me want to learn to play drums, watching Joey on his fucking thing that spins around. And that was I say original lineup, not completely original, but that was with Paul Gray and Joey when they was sort of in their prime.
Yeah.
I think I've got that.
I'm proper envious of you about that, because
Man.
The original like Slipknot lineup, like when they played, like Download in 2009, that's literally like fucking top tier for me. I wish I was at that fucking gig.
Yeah, that was the day that made me think I want to do that. I want to be on that fucking stage one day. But I mean, it's a big dream. Like I doubt it'll ever happen. It's a bit ambitious dream, and there'd be a lot of work to get there. But you never know what the future holds.
Yeah. Never say never.
Yeah, never say
never.
I mean, come on, like bands like Static Dress and like Higher Power are playing like download now, man.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? Like, where there's a will, there's a fucking way. Like, I never thought in a million years I'd even see see probably my Lev play download, because you know, like at the time they were quite small. You know, not many people do them. But fuck me, like, you know, I think that at the minute there's such a good gap in the market for stuff. You know what I mean? Like, where if you just like proper smash it and you haven't got any like holes in anything, you can proper like do amazingly.
Yeah.
Like at the minute, because of the internet and Spotify and shit, bands are blowing up like overnight so quickly.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's mental. Like I fucking Sleep Token, how quickly they blew up on men.
Oh man, that was so quick for them.
You know what I think it was? I think it's because it's like in the lore of the band, like there's these guys that wear masks that make this like really fucking artistically like nice music.
Yeah, the album was
and like has a mixture of just all sorts of bits, but no one knows who the fuck they are. You know what I mean? Like no one knows who the real idea. Have you figured out who the drummer might be?
I'm not saying anything on the podcast, but when we're not recording, I will, because I'm a big fan of Sleep Token. I don't want to ruin what they've got going on, because I love it, like the whole anonymity thing of like people not knowing who the fuck they are.
It's okay, Lewis, we're not recording.
Can you take that out?
We are.
But no, yeah, I know the drummer and singer are, and I've got solid evidence to back it up. So I'll send you some links after.
Well, I have a bit of a theory on my own that I thought. Do you remember that old dubstep band, Mode Step?
Oh, Mode Step, yeah.
I'm so convinced that the vocalist for Mode Step is the same vocalist for Sleep Token, because I decided I'm going to listen to some songs back to, like, side to side, right, to see the similarities, and you can see like very, very similarities in the voice. You know, when they're singing, you're like, huh.
Also, the music, like, it's quite electronic, isn't it?
I know, yeah, but Brad, it's not dubstep.
No, it's not dubstep, obviously.
But,
yeah, there is that element to it.
Yeah, imagine if you heard those pretty white Georges. Like,
You got like the electronic influence in Higher for sure. Like most of that new album I'd say it's more electronic than it is like guitars and stuff.
Would you say? Yeah. I think it's more genty than anything.
There's like a bit of both, but there's definitely equal influence.
Yeah, it's
like
definitely a good balance.
Yeah, no, it's fucking sick. Like,
so yeah, like what we all know you like heavy music. So when you're in the shower, when you're just out and about, what do you listen to when it's not metal?
Oh man, I listen to everything. Personally,
perhaps not guilty. Yes.
Like I hate the term guilty pleasure, but because like personally, I just feel like listen to whatever the fuck you want. Like who cares?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like that's your fucking whatever it makes you happy, then fucking do it. Like
exactly.
if sucking dick makes you happy, then fucking do it, man. Like
yeah, I couldn't agree more. Like I remember I sent Brad my 2020 rap playlist on Spotify, and he went, and Brad was like, you know, there was some songs in there I just didn't think you'd listen to. I was like, trust me, it's a rabbit hole.
yeah.
Okay, for me,
what would you say? Go
on. It would be, I've been in a major spree right now, and for the past few months, of Ghost Main.
Oh yeah,
Ghost Man. New album is phenomenal.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
I've got I wouldn't say he doesn't do weird. I don't know if he does music anymore, but Death Grips.
Yeah, Death Grips.
Fucking love Death Grips. Can't get enough of that. And it's just a genre in its own. Like I can sit there and I can just either get the bus to work or walk when I'm walking anywhere. Like I'm just like listening to either Death Grips, Ghost Main. Lily Allen's on there as well.
Mate, there's not long of a bit of Lily Allen. Honest, man.
Yeah, like if you can't shame someone for liking Lily Allen because like she is good. Like that is good. She's got good
The
talent.
LDN, that song.
Yeah.
LDN, the Lily Allen song. That song's a banger. I remember that.
Yeah.
Mate, you know what
Alfie as well. That's
underrated.
She's good.
Yeah, she is.
But anything else like that, I listen to gigs as well. I do listen to a lot of grime these days, but well, I used to listen to it a lot, but I'm getting back into it. But aside from that, I'm listening to like a lot more other stuff than metal these days. Because obviously, like, I mainly stick to, if I'm listening to metal like Acacia Strain, Violence Murder, Black Tongue. But I have been getting into doom metal recently, like Electric Wizard. I think there's a band called, I think it's Black Tusk.
Mm.
But like I've been getting into a lot of doom metal recently. That's kind of that's an odd one for me. But yeah, a lot of that's. Sorry, my camera cut off then. So
I tell you what, if you're getting into doom metal, check out Primitive Man.
Primitive
Yeah.
Man are fucking
Oh,
sick.
Yeah, fucking weird experience, but it was good.
I swear to God, I started tripping when just listening to that fucking album.
Yeah.
Like, their album covers like an eye, and I was listening to it, and I sent Brad a screenshot. I'm like, I swear to God, the eye's blinking at me. I was like, full on convinced. I was like, I sent him. I'm pretty sure I sent you a recording on my phone.
Yeah.
Didn't I? I was like, is it blinking for you? And you're like, no.
No.
I was like, what's up?
It was a weird experience.
I was like, I think it's because I only had like 4 hours sleep, so I started just like looking at my phone.
Yeah,
Going,
the sleep debt hit you hard.
oh mate, it really did. I was just staring at this fucking eye for ages, going, is it blinking?
Temple of Void, Temple of Void,
Oh,
yeah.
man,
yeah,
fucking love Temple of Void.
Yeah, that new album was sick, wasn't it?
Yeah, man.
I love a
I
bit.
can't remember the name of their 2017 album, but that fucking, oh man, it's so good.
It's proper filthy, isn't it? Just like massive doom guitars with like guttural vocals.
See,
Sounds
I'm
amazing.
very picky with doom.
I am. As
I
well.
like doom with like a bit of a grindcore twist, but like there's some bands that I feel like what we say about taking yourselves too seriously. There's some doom bands that do definitely take themselves too seriously, where you like it comes through in the music, where you can tell like, I reckon if I spoke to this guy for like 5 minutes, I probably won't like him. You know what I mean? Like it's like, but yeah, like, it's fucking there's so many fucking good bands out there.
Yeah.
That's why I like Pig Destroyer, because
Yeah.
grindy as fuck, and they can go from Parallel in the Yard to something like Natasha, which is like a 30-minute doom fucking song, and it just like the concept is just fucking insane. But their lyricist is like vocalist rather, like his lyrics are fucking like on another level.
Have
Like,
you ever listened to Fuck Pig?
no,
Mate, if you want to, they're like a grimecore band, and we saw them at Damnation like the year before last.
Oh yeah.
And
I remember now.
I remember walking in, and like I was like, "Who's the first band we're watching, Brad?" And Brad like, "This is what I saw." So imagine I'm Brad. He goes, "Watching Fuck Pig," and I was like, "What?"
Damnation.
He went, I was like, "Fuck Pig," and he went, "Yeah, fuck Pig." And he went, "But I actually don't know if it's pig fuck or not." And that's probably
There's definitely the fucking of pigs.
Yeah, and then we saw them.
Some kind of relation.
It's really odd. They've got 3 vocalists. Yeah,
What?
no, they've legit got 3 vocalists, and they all wear masks. And all the vocalists do different things at the same time, like different techniques. Like one guy would do highs, other guys would do guttural, and the other guy would do like a mid. But they do it all at the same time, like fully synced up. And then they all wear masks, and are like, why the fuck do they all wear masks? And I heard apparently like they're fucking like got really like important jobs like lawyers and shit like that, so they can't actually show the face.
So that's the same with that Dragged into Sunlight.
Yeah.
Because I think some of them are like solicitors.
Yeah. So like some of them like
crazy.
lawyers and shit. So they're like, oh, you know, if like I've got a client, it could reflect badly on the firm, but in such a shit way. Yeah, like these guys are in a band called Fuck Pig. I don't think they're gonna get me out my fraud case. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's like give us a raw. Go on.
Yeah.
Give us some gutturals.
Yeah, I think that's why I saw it, and I'm pretty sure that's why they wear masks.
Yeah.
So I think we're coming to the end of the sort of questions. So one thing that we always end up ending it on is sort of like, what advice would you give to like someone starting out, like someone like, oh, I'm wanting to start a band now, and they don't know how to go about it, or you know, stuff that you've learned from being in a band for a couple of years and going about it and being like stuff that is like, don't do this, do this, do this sort of thing.
I think it's definitely like even if you've had like a few years of experience, it's still a learning curve. So it's hard to give advice to anyone that would be starting out. But I'd say just practice. Get your music written and how you want it sounding. As long as you're like happy with it, just keep practicing it, keep smashing it out, perfect it. Don't rush yourselves. Because like for us personally, like we didn't start playing or practicing together for like 4 years before we actually started like getting into a room together and getting shit done. We just was constantly writing. We released the first 3 songs before we'd even been in a room like playing together, which sounds really weird, but like the way we write, it's like we'll tab it all out. Well, I wrote majority of the EP that we've got out. But it was like really weird because we'd like tab it all out and then we'd all learn it, but it just because of previous members and like people being sort of unreliable, like we just never found time to get together and jam.
Yeah.
Just learn your shit, get good at your instruments, and make sure it's what you want to do, and you've got good musicians around you that actually want to do it. Because if you have people in your band that are just essentially dead weight, then you're going to have no drive whatsoever, and you're just going to have no motivation to want to progress.
That is something I was going to say. Like, obviously, some of the experience I've had with bands, and I'm still friends with some of these guys from the past. But a lot of what I found is, if I was to give advice to someone, please, if it was a vocalist, make sure you practice, do your warm-ups. Don't go, and make sure you drink plenty of water. Just like hydrate yourself, bitch. But just make sure you're happy doing what you're doing, and if it's the right sort of music for you, then carry on with it. But like, don't let anybody. I wouldn't say don't let people force you into doing something you're not too comfortable with.
Yeah.
So like, if it's not your sort of range, if you're trying to go to that, if you're trying to do something that doesn't fit your style, or if you're as Lewis said, just make sure you're happy with what you're doing, because that's like a lot of what my experience with in the past. Like, I realised I didn't find my niche until really now, because a lot of the stuff I was doing wasn't really as heavy as this, and any time I kind of tried to, it wasn't fitting, or it just wasn't right. And I was using a different sort of vocal technique, which didn't really agree with me. And even if I go back to trying to do that sort of fry scream, it does fuck me up. Like, I remember first practice with the Mechromorph boys, I switched up, and because I went from just doing gutturals, and I went to like, I've only recently started doing these like cattle decapitation sort of like zombie highs. That's the only thing I can sort of compare it to.
No, I still have them.
And I kind of went a bit to like really, really throaty, and then for about a week, maybe a week and a half, and I think the boys can vouch for me, when I got there, I still found it sound a bit throaty, but my throat was like hurting, and it felt really, really painful, because I was out of doing band stuff, or obviously I was still practicing, but just as I said, just keep practicing, because it will bite you in the arse.
Oh yeah, you know, that's one thing I learned the hard way doing vocals myself, sort of thing. I mean, like, I remember once at practice I did like a pig squeal, and I just kind of like assumed that when you do a pig squeal you got to get low. It's all bullshit. You don't have to do that. It's just a stage thing. But I got that low that I'd end up draining so much oxygen that I passed out near enough. Like, I just went, and then I went faint and fell onto like the drum riser, and I was like, right, I'm never doing that again. But yeah, I think what both of you are saying, it's so important. Like, it's like genuinely like take the time out as well, like, and
Mm.
go over your shit, because if you don't,
Be diligent with it.
it shows.
Absolutely.
It shows. I think when people don't.
Yeah.
Also, like, make sure. I think the rest of this will just make sure you're around good people. Like the people you're in the band with, just make sure they're putting in the same energy as you, and like you're happy doing the sort of music with them. Because if it's just an emotional wear down throughout the whole practice, or you just feel drained because there's just different mindsets. Oh, I personally would say get out there, because it's just a mental battle. If you all got sort of a different vision of what you want to do, either talk about it, and if that's not working, I don't think that would work out, because there's so much you can talk about, so much, but if you're not getting any direction from it, it's just going to go in that same vicious circle, I'd say.
Yeah,
No, absolutely.
100% agree with you there.
No, that's a good way to end it. Great
Yeah.
advice from Mechromorph.
Yeah, closing off, is there anything you want to plug? Anything you want to shout
Yeah.
out or like that?
We're all at the
before
red
we go?
carpet to you guys. Go on.
Well, I did say to Django, my boy Dan from Final Words, I'd give them a shout out. So, Final Words, shout out to them. If you haven't checked out their EP, fucking do it, because it's hard as nails. And
Fucking sick.
yeah, cheers for having us on. It's been fucking.
Thank you, guys.
No worries, man. Anytime. If you ever want to come on again, just let us know.
Yeah, exactly. Anytime.
Get you on, because I enjoyed today. I really
too.
did.
Yeah, man. It's been
And,
fucking.
yeah, I heard you guys have got something coming out. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know,
So-
but yeah,
Hopefully we get to see
in
it
the
soon.
near future, it will definitely happen.
yeah. Stay
Whether it
tuned.
be before
Well, yeah,
Christmas or after, it will be here sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Well, let
I
us know. Let us know. We'll put it on the Headbangers page
Yeah,
as well.
we'll share it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll give it a share and shit. Yeah, I mean, like, fucking end of the day, what's the point of having a podcast if you don't promote your mates?
Yeah, that's it, mate. That's it.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm just gonna stop the recording now.
Yeah.
No problem.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you very much.